In this video, we're gonna keep doing the transformation of my son's motor from this to this by getting the paint work done and getting it ready for reassembly. Let's go. The first step was just to go ahead, get our pressure washer out, go through it, get it cleaned up the best we could, get into all the nooks and crannies, and then start getting it disassembled. Now, once we got done, it came out pretty good. It's looking pretty clean, but as you can see, it's pretty dingy and definitely in need of being scrubbed down a bit more. And then once we get it painted, I think it's going to have a tremendous transformation and look great in his pickup truck. Now, we are both real happy and proud of that once we got it disassembled and it was time for us to start getting it ready. Now, he just used a cone-shaped wire brush on this and worked around on the surfaces of the block. I think it came out looking great, and it was ready for paint when he got done just with the surfaces on the sides of the block there. Now, we did go through on all of our gasket surfaces and our ceiling surfaces, just use some brake cleaner, and then followed that up with the Roll-Lock. Not only for our gaskets, but also for our taping to get it taped off before we did the paint on it. We wanted to make sure it was ready. Here we're just doing the oil filter adapter gasket area. Now he's going through getting the oil pan ready. Once again, so our gasket will seal and so that our tape will seal when we get to doing our painting on here. We don't want to have overspray getting inside the motor. Now, once we were done, we just took some brake cleaner, cleaned it off really good in all the areas. We wanted to make sure we didn't have any dust or any debris anywhere. And then we followed that up with just a compressed air. And then we started taping. Now, we just took our time with this, made sure we got everything covered on it, and we just kind of ran it over and then went back with the blade and cut it. Now, here for the front, just because of the special cut, I thought it was best to place the timing cover back on and then just trace out the tape there so we knew when we got done where to pull that off, and you'll see that here shortly. But we just kept going and getting it all taped off and ready to go. And now we're ready to get that paint going on there, and we have everything covered except for what we want to have get painted. Luke was real excited to get this Ford blue going here on his block. We chose to go with that as opposed to the black, and I'm really glad we did. I think the Ford blue just came out beautiful on this block, and it looks great when he's all done with it. What a huge transformation we had here. Now, he ended up doing about 3 coats on it, naturally letting it dry in between, and I love the color on it. It came out looking great, as you see here, and all that work he did in the prep with the wire brush really paid off when it came to how well the paint came out. Now, before we get into the unveiling of that and getting the tape pulled off, we'll just show you some other things. He did the timing cover, went through, cleaned it up, degreased it, got it taped off, and after that he just took an aluminum silver spray paint, went through, got that painted, did the crank pulley, wanted to make sure he had that matching his Ford blue. Stuck with doing black on the oil pan, used like a Scotch-Brite pad to kind of scuff it up and clean it, and then just went through and painted that with a black engine paint. We were real fortunate for the intake manifold. A friend of ours let us come up to his shop there and use his bead blaster so Luke could bead blast his intake manifold, and what a great day that was. As you can tell, that shop is always fun to visit, but he got it done. Got it taped up, and now it's ready. And once again, he just used the aluminum paint, the silver that he used on the timing cover, which came out, you'll see it here in a bit, a real bright, beautiful silver, and it looked good. Did the intake there on the top of the intake, got the elbow done as well. This is an idea of what that looked like when we got done, just kind of a quick preview of that intake manifold. The valve covers, which you're going to see coming up here next. For the valve covers, first we scrubbed them, then we took the Scotch-Brite pad, went over those, kind of got them scuffed up because we wanted to make sure that the paint was going to adhere to the surface on our valve covers. And so the first thing we did is take some alcohol and put it like on a paper towel and go over it to get that oil off. Then we used a primer adhesion promoter from Rust-Oleum, and we sprayed that down on there as just a primer to get it to go. I let my son do all this because that's how he learns, and this is his motor for his truck and his project, and I want him to be able to say he did all the work on it. Dad just kind of came along for the ride to help give him some guidance, and so he learned some things here along the way as well. I think it was a great experience for him. But here he's just going through and adding that primer, that adhesion promoter, and getting it ready to add the paint. One of the things I'll mention is on those raised areas you'll see right along in here, we wanted to do those in silver and then do the valve cover itself in blue. So the first step of our painting process was just to paint the top of our valve covers with silver so that it got those stripes, those raised stripes if you will, painted silver. And then what we would do is we would then come back, and then once that silver had dried, we would then tape off that silver, and here's a good view of how we did that there. Once that was done, we got it all taped off, then we could come back through, paint the whole valve cover in the blue, so that when we got done, you could pull that tape off and you had a beautiful blue valve cover with the silver accents. I think they came out looking awesome. Now here you can see I love the look of that silver and blue together. I think it just came out looking phenomenal, especially when you pair that up with his timing chain cover and that crank pulley. I think it just looks absolutely beautiful, and you'll see that here later on as we go. But now it's time for us to get back to doing our unveiling. Luke was really excited to get that tape taken off of there. And boy, at this point is when all that hard work we did for the deck and the pistons really started to pay off. Naturally, I'm biased here, but I think it just came out looking beautiful. And all that hard work we did in the prep and getting things cleaned and taping well, at this point is where you really see the results, and that really pays off because it came out really clean, no overspray. We were able to just remove the tape off and it was ready to go. I thought you would enjoy some after pictures. Here we just kind of set some things on it just to take a few quick pictures and just get a look at it. We're real proud of how well this came out and how great it was going to look inside his truck. He got a little dirty throughout this process, but you know what? As the hat says, dirty hands, clean money. He's been working hard, and he's really going to enjoy this motor. Now, here's just a preview of how this motor started to look when we got done with it, with the valve covers, the intake. And you'll see this more as we get later on through this video series where we start to put it back together. But this just gives you an idea. I just think it came out looking absolutely beautiful. Let me know what you think down below in the comments as we got this wrapped up. Now in the next video, we're going to be replacing the rear main seal on this unit, as well as in future videos, we're going to be doing the oil pump and the Calvin spark plug inserts. Make sure to join us for that. As always, I appreciate you stopping by, and thanks for watching.